Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU Podcast, where we explore the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm joined by Louise Rogers from South Wales, who has written a book called Ultimately Lucinda. Louise, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell us what it's like to live in the Glale of Glamorgan in South Wales. It sounds idyllic.
It really is idyllic. We moved from Berkshire and this is our forever home. I love living by the sea and I love living in God's beautiful country with lots of mountains and forests, and it's just beautiful.
Wonderful. And you can see the sunset in the evenings?
Yes, from our bedroom, from our lounge window, we can see the sun setting over the fields and the sea, and it's just fabulous.
Beautiful.
Absolutely glorious.
You must take a photo and send me sometime. I'd love to see that. But
I've
we're
got a
here
hundred.
to talk. Yeah, we're here to talk about a book. You've decided to write a book, but before you were an author of a book, you spent a career in retail. Tell
Retail.
us, just give us the three highlights from your career in retail.
Um, oh my goodness. um, Well, it was a very much a journey of discovery. I worked in all sorts of different types of buying offices, starting with Harrods, and that was a lovely
Wow.
family, straight out from school. So my first nearly 8 years was in Harrods, um, and I loved it. And then
Mm.
I decided that I had to move on because if I wanted to get any further, you couldn't unless anybody died or emigrated. So I went to Cullen's briefly, and then I moved to the John Lewis Partnership, where I held about 15 jobs over 30 years.
Wow. Incredible.
And that was a lovely family. And I'm still
Mm.
very much part of that family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that about John Lewis. And now you're retired in the lovely Vale of Glamorgan, and you decided you were going to write a book. What first triggered you to think about writing a book, Louise?
Over the years, I've done several evening courses, 6 weeks, and then sometimes day courses with authors. So I knew there was a book in me. And
Mm.
during lockdown, I wrote the first chapter of my book. And then it just kind of stopped when we all got back to normal again. And then back in September, a devotional that I was reading offered a free Zoom course to meet Matt Bird. And I
Ooh,
decided to take you up on this. And at the end of that course, you offered us the publish my write my book in 100 days.
yeah,
And
I remember. Wow.
I thought,
And
well, now's the time.
now is the time. And
Seize
you
the
did it.
day.
You did it, and you did so well, Louise. Let's come back to the course in a minute. Tell us the book, Ultimately Lucinda. I mean, what's the heart of what the book's about?
The strap line is every cloud has a silver lining. And during my life, I've had all sorts of challenges. And ultimately, was my dad's favorite word, and he passed away last year. And Lucinda was my teddy bear, and she was like my Jesus before I met Jesus. And it's all about how the Lord has carried me through different challenges and how he's like the footprints in the sand poem says he carries you through, and there is always a silver lining and there is hope at the end of the day because I believe in a God of hope.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so it tells stories from your life and the hope that you always find, even in the most difficult of circumstances. And what's been your motivation for writing it, Louise?
My motivation is that I've got a story to tell, and I want to encourage people who are also going through tough times to to give them hope and to help them find a purpose. And I say that life's a bit like a tapestry, but we only see the messy bits on the back. But God's creating this beautiful picture of our lives. And I've struggled with lots of different aspects of my life, but now I feel that I'm happy in my own skin and I want to help other people to encourage them. I'm a real Barnabas, and I love encouraging people.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, I sometimes call this you've written your story to be somebody else's guide.
I hadn't thought of it like that, but I just want to share the love, really.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you said, Louise, you did the Writing My Book course with me. Um, you know, what was the obstacle you felt you faced before you actually joined the course? What was it that was holding you back from writing the book?
Well, I needed somebody like you to be my coach and guide me through, because I hadn't got a clue where to start. And I'm learning all the time. It's been a huge journey of discovery. And as you know, I threw myself into it hook, line, and sinker.
You certainly did.
And I loved the process and doing the mind map. I mean, that took me like 3 days. And I mean, if I show you now my mind map.
Oh, oh, wow. Gosh, look at that, people. Incredible. What detail. And I love the colors.
Well, I'm an artist as well. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, in amongst the career in retail, an artist, incredible. So, yeah, so the course provided that structure and support for you to actually get your book written.
And the fellowship. We became a family. They were a lovely, lovely group of people from all over the place, all
Mm,
walks of life, and they've been so supportive. It was
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. And and for those who don't know, the Writing My Book course is, a group of 5 to 10 people who journey together over 3 months to write their book. And Louise, you as you said, you threw yourself into it. And at the end of the 3 months, you had a manuscript for your book. How did that make you feel? I mean, I can see your face now. It's like beam.
It's a dream come true. It really is. And working with a graphic designer to get the book, that picture, we're going to write the story of that picture in the book, because it is beautiful. And we just heard my husband had got another tumour, and one of my most frequent prayers is, "Oh God, help." I took the dogs for a walk around the village, sat on a bench and said, "Oh God, help." And he said, "Look up." I looked up and I saw that picture. I took one photograph and I came home. A minute later, the cloud had gone. It was a wonky cloud, wonky heart shape. And I saw this light emanating from the center of the cloud up to heaven. And I said, "That's my picture. That's the front of my book." And I'm tingling as I'm telling you this, because it was 1 second, one moment. And I just feel we have to embrace the moments of life, and because they're gone. If you don't embrace it, you lose it. So
Mm, mm. Wow. And now it's the cover image of your book. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that, Louise. So love that. And tell us about one of the stories in your book, perhaps one that, was a tough time, but through it you discovered, great, you came through with great hope.
oh golly, only one.
Oh, pick one. The first one you think of.
um, well, actually, my mother was dying, and it sounds depressing, but the way God held me through that, He just followed, put out everything in front of me every step of the way, and you know, just looked after me. Complete strangers had me to stay in their houses, and oh, I was serving at New Wine in the arts pavilion, Arts on Purple 8, and I had a call to say that my mother was dying. So I knew, so that was in Somerset. I lived in Berkshire, and my mum was in hospital in Birmingham. So I had to get a lift from Somerset to Birmingham that night. My husband was coming to pick up me and the kids, so he was taking them back to Berkshire. And a lady from Arts and Purple 8, who I've been serving with a week, said, went to the office, and she said, "Where are the people camping in the Birmingham?" So she went over there and she said, "Who can take this lady, give a lift?" And they said, "Oh, go and see this lady." So she saw this lady, And she said, that's amazing, because literally 5 minutes ago, I was praying that I could give a lift to somebody because I didn't want to travel all the way home in the car with my daughter asleep in the back. So I went on this journey with this beautiful lady. We were chatting. She had a phone call from a friend on the journey. This friend also had a mother in the same hospital 3 doors up from my mum. And I spent the night in the hospital on a camp bed next to my mum. The next day, this lovely lady came and met me. We went to church together. We were kneeling at the altar rail for communion. And the vicar said, "Oh, I can tell you two are sisters." And I said, "Yes, we are. But we'd only met half an hour ago." Her dad took us for lunch and then went to the evening service. And a couple that had served in new wine, they said, "Well, come and stay with us tonight, because I go to do a voluntary job in the morning, go straight past the hospital." So I stayed with them, had a shower, and it was lovely. And then she dropped me at hospital the next day. And then another friend who just moved, a neighbour of mine, she just moved up there. And then she collected me that night and I stayed with her. And then the next day I went home. And then the next day my husband came back with me and we saw my mum for the last time. And so those days were just incredible. It's like God had planned every step of the way. And it was beautiful that I could spend those last days with my mum, even though she was in a coma.
Incredible. What a
That's one
story.
story. That's one. And there's plenty more in my book.
Oh. So Louise, as we wrap up today, tell us what's your hope of what the book achieves?
I hope that it gives people hope wherever they are in the world. And I mean, I spoke to a lady at church on Sunday and showed it to her, and she said, "My mum must read this." And she's in Zambia, right? I've got people in America, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. So it's going to go around the world and spread hope like a ripple effect.
Wonderful. That is really incredible. Well, thank you so much, Louise. And
You,
thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast featuring the genuinely real stories of authors from around the world. If you've interested, excuse me, if you're interested in becoming an author like Louise, please do visit our website, www.publishu.com, publishu.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.